This video has been classified by the ABC as PG.
3 weeks ago, Australia's Defence Department got its very own official cyber warfare centre. It comes as governments all around the world are scrambling together the resources to launch and defend against an online attack. And the most likely of these is a distributed denial of service attack. And it works a bit like this. A virus secretly infects thousands of ordinary computers, turning them into zombie computers. Together, they form something called a botnet, this network of sleeper cells waiting to be triggered by a single machine called a bot herder. Now, the attack itself is very simple. The bot herder instructs all of the zombie machines to contact a single website at the same time, and the sheer number of requests will cause the site to overload and crash. Ooh, scary. All right, it doesn't sound like much more than just a bit of mischief, but when you consider how intertwined the net is with everything from our mobile phone networks to our trains, you start to realise the scope of this kind of warfare. For example, in 2007, Estonia was crippled by a massive denial of service strike against government websites. But DDoS attacks are at their most crippling when combined with real-world assaults. In 2008, Russia invaded Georgia, but 3 weeks before the tanks rolled over the border, the attacks began on Georgian servers, damaging the government's ability to communicate with citizens. Now, the Georgian attacks mostly came from servers in the US, but that botnet army could have been commanded from anywhere: Helsinki, Pyongyang, Kalgoorlie. The Russians were the primary suspects, but no one really knows. And DDoS attacks aren't just used for warfare, they're also used for protests. Fittingly, the online collective best known for their use of these kinds of attacks is called Anonymous. In fact, they're attacking the Australian government right now.
Hello, Prime Minister Rudd. We are Anonymous.
Anonymous have no leader, no centralised structure and no list of members. They grew out of web forums, and their previous targets have included the Church of Scientology, whose websites and email servers they brought crashing down.
Over the past several months, we have observed the actions of your government in regard to censorship of internet content in Australia.
Anonymous strongly opposed the government's mandatory internet filter, and at 8 AM today they launched Operation Titstorm, promising to bring down government websites by emailing them massive amounts of pornography.
We shall proceed to do everything in our power to annihilate your government's presence on the internet. We are Anonymous. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Depending on how you see things, Anonymous either represent a brand new take on democratised protests, cyber vandals, or self-important nerds just living out their Rebel Alliance fantasies. Whichever it is, last September an Anonymous protest succeeded in pulling Kevin Rudd's website offline for a short while. Today, their target, the website of Parliament House, was down at various points across the day, and that's with a warning. It may all seem harmless. I mean, we are just talking about websites being pulled down here, but imagine a more focused, a more disciplined organisation, and suddenly it becomes clear Australia is no different to countries like Estonia or Georgia. In an interconnected world, we're all open for attack. Let's hope we're ready.